Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
All right, Talk and Power podcast, episode 158. I'm here with co-host Todd Brinkworth. I'm Nick DeChumbre. We've got some really special guests here with us on the podcast tonight. I'm joined by Phil and Dan from Aussie Garage TV. Guys, thanks for coming along.
No thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to have you guys here. We caught up at the Northern Steel show.
Yes. Yep.
We first met you there. I've been following you for a little while, and then I saw the interview you did with Alison and Pete of Northern Steel. I thought that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good incentive. I like what you do. And I started watching more of your content, and you know what came back to me? And I don't know, you said you're from Canberra. I don't know how long you've been in Western Australia for yourself, Dan, but it brought back, you probably remember, TV show, this was in the 90s, called Cruising. It was the late 90s, early 2000s, Cruising on Channel 31. Murray Reynolds was his name. I don't know if you remember Murray.
I remember that kind of show, but I don't know much about it, but I remember a little bit about it.
Yeah, he did a magnificent job, Murray. I really liked Murray. I don't know where he is these days. Hello, Murray, if he's listening.
Yeah.
I hope you're going well. Great West Australian. And your show reminded me of his TV show. So talk us through that. It's a show about you talk to, well, it's probably best you tell us.
Wow. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Well, when we first sort of got together and came up with the idea, we wanted to drag people's stories out about their cars. Yep. So the cars are primarily the most important part, but the stories run in a very close second. So we wanted to get people's stories out of them more so than just have a look at their car. We wanted to know where they came from, whether there was a family connection with the cars or whether they had to drag it out of a creek and completely rebuild it, that sort of thing. So so that was our focus when we got started.
Yep.
And
Obviously, there's a WA aspect to your show, and I feel that. And do you think that's something that we've kind of missed in the last few years? Like, I mean, there's a lot of content out there, but I don't think there's many guys doing what you guys do.
No, we do it kind of different from everyone else. We just don't go to just shows and just do the normal stuff, film cars. We want to make sure that we get it out there. We interview the people that are on, at the scene.
Yep.
And then we want to take it back to their house. We get better response when we're at their house than what we actually do at the event.
Yeah.
And WA it has had a bit of a gap between the car scene and what's been out there, because even what we have, most of our viewers are, even though we're WA, most of our viewers are in Eastern States.
Yep.
But we're still trying to promote like WA in the car scene and make it bigger over here, because there's plenty of cars hiding around. And even the other day we were down at the Southwest, and there was a guy that apparently he's got 50 Mustangs in his shed, and we're trying to get hold of him so we can interview him, but they're just hidden away and people don't know about them.
How hard is that part of the job? Like, you get a lead on someone. I know you've had a few. How hard is that part, like finding the lead and going the next step?
Yeah, I think it's getting easier.
A little bit easier, We kind of force our way in, or we tell them to dominate a mate, just, stuff like that.
Yeah, look, some people don't want to talk to us, and that's fair enough too.
Yeah.
But our first response to that is, well, dob in your mate who will talk to us, and generally we get someone.
Yep.
And the more people we speak to, the more leads we get from them. They say, I've got a mate with this and that, and rah. So we end up with leads just from people that we've interviewed. So
Well, we did one interview, and from that interview, I think we end up getting 5 or 6 new people to interview from that, and they've got very amazing cars as well, and some of them are unique.
So, I mean, that's part of the gig, I guess. It is as well. Like, you've got to build your brand as well. People become trusted in Aussie Garage TV, and then they buy into what you guys are doing. You're not just, with respect, not just like a 13 or a 16-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid with a GoPro walking around talking to people.
Yeah.
Because that's like we see that come and go so often, but I think you guys is more legit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really I'm enjoying what you guys doing. Like, tell me, you've sort of kicked off in February of 2022. In my view, it's been a quick climb for you guys. I think you've done really well in terms of subs and subscribers, that is, and the viewership. But tell us, did you think you'd get to that point so quickly in 1 year?
We actually didn't think we'd get more than 50 people looking at us, and then it just went from there, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it. We generally started just for our own interest and just to do a few things for the panel van club that we're in and that sort of thing, and it just sort of grew from there.
Yep.
We went with no expectations, which is a good way to go.
Yep.
So as things built, we just put more and more effort in, and away we went.
Yep. No, I can certainly see that. I mean, it was 1,000. I mean, even our YouTube hasn't hit nowhere near 1,000. Well, we probably don't push YouTube enough, but I think you've done a magnificent job in such a short period of time. Where do you see the entire social media movement in terms of the automotive scene? Like I said, we've seen a lot of guys come and go. Like, where do you see yourself in, I guess, in maybe a year or two, in 5 years' time?
Well, hopefully in a bigger, better position than what we are now. But hopefully it will expand and there'll be more cars that will be out in the scene. Hopefully WA will have a bigger presence out on the Australian scene as a stage overall, because we have a lot of people that go to like the summer nats and stuff, and they all come over here, but we don't have a lot of great people from WA going over there and showcasing their cars either. And we don't really have a big, massive show apart from Motivation over here. And we've got Max Pinjara with the state titles and other things like that happen, but they're not big events like Sumnats. And we don't have that quality, whereas there's a lot of elite cars out there, but Motivation's more for burnouts and the skids and everything like that, whereas the show car side of it is very small, where it used to be massive when Motivation first started, and it was only the burnouts were only a small portion. And I would love to see that again. I would love to see that back.
Okay. Yep. It's interesting. I agree with you as well. I think I didn't go to Motivation this year, to be honest. I didn't go, but I think it's morphed into something else. I mean, when Perth City Street Machine had it so many years ago, it was a burnout comp, but it was so many other things as well. It was like a really cool show. Even those early years at Birdswood as well. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I used to go to all the time, like I'm WA born. So I used to go there all the time.
The Baghdad Bullet doing burnout. Now, if you look, can you think back that, and you think, did you go to that?
Yeah, and Victor. All I remember is Victor Bray hitting the stairs or the seats at the Birdswood.
Yeah.
And I said to my mate, this will be the last year they ever had it, and it was the last year they ever had it, when Victor Bray belted the seats.
But even the Baghdad Bullet, Frank Gaffieri, I think his name is, doing burnouts in the car park at the casino, that's just... just wouldn't be heard of today. It'd be like, what? What do you mean? I tell my kids, I said, Frank, right, because it's still a car park to this day.
Yeah.
I said, Frank, I was laying burnouts in a truck right here, and I was, no joke, like right there. Those days are gone. It's just...
Yeah, that's it. I mean, when you used to go there, like I saw a bloody Walkinshaw doing a burnout and ripping its whole ass end out. I'm thinking, you wouldn't do that in a Walkinshaw now. No point.
Yeah.
There's just too much value there getting ripped apart.
Yeah. Well, the scene has changed there as well, you know what I mean? Those cars have sort of increased. Original cars, we were just talking about in the podcast earlier about, originality. I think there's more value in keeping cars original now. It depends on what they are, of course, but than it is modifying them heavily. So, yeah, I think the scene's changed a bit there.
It's definitely fluctuated a bit because, like, even with some of the total original cars now, you can still get decent money with it, even if it's not, depending on the car. If it's a Holden, definitely get more money if it's fully original. But if it's anything else, you can get more money if it's custom.
Yeah.
my car's an XC Falcon for panel van, for example. My car is probably worth more as a custom than what it would be as an original.
That's an interesting point you make there. Because I saw your car at the Northern Steel Show, and you're probably right. Yes, yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, it's interesting. That's part of the art of what we do as well, isn't it? Weighing up what's worth modifying and what's not.
Yeah.
And everyone's right, aren't they? At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answers, I guess.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
personal opinion. Everyone's car is going to be different. It's going to be built for them.
Yeah.
Build it for themselves, and some people don't like it, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Well, it's their ride, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's
that's
their
it.
choice. It's how they want to do it, and that's it. You respect it. If you like it or not, you respect it because the guys put the energy and effort in, or the lady has, and they actually done it very well 95% of the time. Sometimes you look at it and go, okay, well, that's a left field one, but okay, let's look at it.
Yeah. No, agreed. When you're putting together a video or when you're shooting a video, how hard is it for you guys to come up with an edge or something a little bit different? Like, do you take that when you're recording, or do you back at editing? Let's try something different out here.
I think it's more we try to find those rare cars that people don't see, or we look for what's so special about this car compared to. So when we go to a show, we look at a VL Commodore, for example, like we were at Northern Steel. We looked at it and went, well, there's VL Commodores there all over the place, but there was one VL Commodore that was an SV88.
Beautiful
We
car, that
filmed
one.
Yeah.
And we filmed that, and it was one of 100, and one of 150, sorry. And that thing was pristine, never molested, never been touched. And that's the kind of stuff that we really try to find. And we've done that a couple of times with interviews, haven't we? We've gone out
We
and
found a few gems in amongst it,
and then all of a sudden they've gone, oh, we've got this one back here, and it was like, okay. Like one of the biggest ones we had was Joe. We interviewed Joe about his cars and his family.
Is he the one with the yellow, the 55 or the
Chevy,
56, yeah.
56,
And he's got
As well as the
Cobra
XY and
XY.
the XA,
All
and
that.
the Valiant, and the Cortina, and the
We met up with Cars and Coffee and said, we just want to film you about the XC. And then next minute he goes, I've got about 8 cars at home. And we went, we're coming over. And that was it. We went there and we filmed it. We spent, 8 hours there?
we were there all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filming?
It was a full day. Yeah.
It was good.
It's hard, isn't it? I mean, that's a lot of your time and his time as well.
Yeah,
mind
yep.
you. Both of you, and his time into bringing, his story and his car's stories to the greater public,
Yeah,
which I don't think people understand. So it's 8 hours of shooting. And was it 16 to 24 hours of editing? Because I've generally
more than
times
that.
by 3, don't you?
Yeah,
there's a lot of
definitely
editing
a lot
involved.
more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you may go through 10 hours of footage, but it may only be you only put out a video that's probably 30 minutes long and you may bring it out in 3 parts in 3 sessions. So maybe you get an hour and a half out of the whole lot that you shoot, and the rest of it you can't put it out there because you just don't have that viewer retention. You've got to get it right. You've got to get the length of it right. You've got to find out when to switch off and then move on to the next thing. And we've found that YouTube and trying to find that niche area, it's very difficult to get it right every time because you think you got it right and then they change the goals and you start again and you go, crap, let's start again and do it this way. And we get it right sometimes we don't.
It's certainly not a something that you can just say, yep, this is the formula and go, because it just, some videos will go really well, some videos won't, and you won't know why.
That's what I was about to ask, because I've been doing this for a little while now, and it's really so hard. It's so hit and miss. It really is. But, you read what YouTube tell you, and they try and say, keep it under 5 minutes.
Yep.
But if you're going to keep it under 5 minutes, or if you're going to go over 5 minutes, there's got to be, engagement the whole time. And I think you're 100% right. I think they changed the goalposts as well. Yeah.
The algorithm changes and
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at one stage we were getting 1,500 every short that we put out there, and then we just went down to 20 views per short, and for a long time there it just dropped off the radar. We had nothing, and then now we're starting to claw back again. It's just the way the game rolls. But there's a lot of technical stuff involved and for me and Dan, this is a big learning curve for us because we didn't actually start editing or pick up a camera until we actually, I think it was 2021, like
pretty much,
an event
Yep.
that we were doing, and we were just filming for the van club, and we went, well, let's do it for ourselves. Never done it anywhere else in our lives, and we just taught ourselves editing, taught ourselves how we should do it, and then watched a lot of tutorials and just try to get it right. And even now and again, we just pull our hair out and go, what the hell?
Yeah, it is. I'm glad it's not just me because I started thinking it was just me. So I'll give you a perfect example of that. I haven't told you. So I did identical videos. I dropped one on Facebook, same video. And I got literally it was no likes at all. No likes at all. And I think it was 20 views. Same video I put on YouTube, but I changed the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I put this I say all these videos now with these big stupid arrows.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, just for a laugh, I'm going to put a stupid arrow there pointing at the car. And I use that Bangers. Do you use Bangers as your font? Apparently, Bangers is the font to use for YouTube. It's called.
Even I'm learning, so yeah, you're on your own.
Apparently, I don't know. Look, I used Bangers. Now that video got 400 views over at YouTube. Exactly the same video.
Yeah.
I know that's nothing to write home about. 400 views is nothing, but that was completely organic. Both videos one was on Facebook, one was on YouTube. Just had different thumbnails.
That's all it takes, really.
Yeah. Well, we don't really know what it takes.
Well,
sometimes we're still figuring it out.
Sometimes
you try new
it's
things,
the title, it's the thumbnail, it's everything. It all comes together, and you have to get that perfect package to make it right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just sheer luck. One of the best videos we've done was on one of our van members that unfortunately his van caught fire, and we did that, and that was just us showing what happened, then running through it, and then everyone in the van club helping out, and that just went nuts. We got 21,000 views out of that one.
Oh wow!
But we haven't had that ever again. But I think it's because people
saw a van on fire.
Yeah, they're captivated by the van on
What's
fire.
going on here?
Yeah,
because we got the footage of that.
Yeah.
But
also everyone
otherwise,
likes a bit of a hard luck story too, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And we interviewed Nick about it, and he sort of had his words on the situation. So
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, is that Nick Kokonos?
Yeah.
He's coming here. He's going to be here next week.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
there you go.
He's
So
told us, yeah.
we can. Oh, there you go.
I'll ask him.
But that's it is, and that's a science that I think there's people that go to university and study all this sort of stuff now, the algorithms and all this, and like all of us, you guys work full time.
Yep.
We all work full. This is our full time gig. We just do it for the love of it more than anything. But it's hard to try and make this work when you're up against an algorithm with that you don't know how it's changing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That was one of the questions that I had for you because we all seem to be fighting the YouTube versus Facebook issues. I've noted that when we link a YouTube video on Facebook, it doesn't rate it at all. So there is something that
you're better off actually putting it on YouTube and just putting the link on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that way, it all Facebook actually likes it. YouTube gives you all the credit for it, and it all links together. And at the end of the day, Google overall gives you a higher rating if you have it on multiple platforms.
Yep.
So that's why we have like TikTok, which we don't have a great deal of views on there all the time. We have average about 200 views per video that we put up, and they're only short ones. Instagram, we're not that big on, but we have it on there. And then we have the Facebook and YouTube. YouTube's the main one, and then we have our own website. So and we put it up on there as well.
Yeah, so your website's very good. Very, very good. It's a very good website. So I didn't know you did TikTok as well. So because I know zero about TikTok.
Me too.
What's the so you said you got to keep it short. Am I right in saying like sub 1 minute?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you can keep it under that 1 minute mark, or even if you can, if you can get it in for 15 seconds and capture what you need to capture, that's the perfect mark.
Right, okay. All right. Yep.
It's TikTok and those kind of shorts are built to just do very, very short attention span videos. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
And even then, not everyone will sit through a 1 minute video. And you look at the schedules and what we've got on the back end of the analytics, and we'll find that people will halfway through it will go, I'm done. And it's not even a minute.
Yeah, right.
And they're down.
Yeah.
You know, they just go, no, moving on to the next one, because they can just scroll through because there's hundreds of them.
So how hard is it then? Well, like, I mean, when you say that, because we're trying to tap a market that's the market that I think you've already tapped is like our age.
Yep.
You know,
Yep,
that sort of
Yep.
late 40s, early 50s. That I think you've done really well there. How hard is it to get like my 15-year-old son who's on TikTok and all those platforms? How hard is it to get someone like him, drag him in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, almost impossible.
Yeah,
I would
pretty
say.
much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we don't target the younger generation cars at the moment, unfortunately. In our videos, we're more that muscle classic kind of style. But then again, we've got a lot of people that are actually at that younger generation that are still watching. So we've got a good 20% of our audience is watching it from that age group.
Yep.
And it's still climbing because there's still kids out there that are actually heavily involved and they love that kind of classic look and they want to do it. They just want to follow in their father's footsteps.
I've never understood the guy that just came to WA just recently in the last few days, Logan Paul.
Yep.
Like my kids follow him. The guy is
UFC guy.
yeah, well he's
Yeah.
a wrestler, but he's not a very good wrestler, I don't think. I really don't know a lot about him, but I don't understand how someone like him can have 24 million followers. Yet the story that you guys are telling warrants. They're great stories, but a guy that wrestles and sells energy drinks just doesn't excite me. You know what I mean?
It excites someone.
Yeah.
But it's a thing is like if we were doing something silly or ridiculous or whatever, our views would probably be even higher than that.
Yeah.
But because we're doing it about cars, it's not as high. And not only that, if we were in the eastern states, or even if we were in the US, for example, and we were doing the same thing as what we're doing right now, we would be a lot bigger than what we are because the actual market for that is huge. Whereas over in WA, it's smaller. Eastern states is bigger, and that's hence why we've got a lot of our audiences is in the eastern states. But we're trying to make sure that the WA audience grows and we get the acknowledgement. That's why we're trying to present car shows, what events are coming up, where we're going to be, what kind of cars are out there, finding all these hidden gems in the woodwork, and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to say the least, and trying to work that all out is an art of its own. Yeah. Talk us through the YouTube partnership program.
Well, Dan can't answer this one because he
I
doesn't know anything about it.
I just had to console him when he was banging his head against the wall. I was trying to figure it all out.
It's the program is quite once you get there and you actually get approved, you get your 1,000 subscribers and you've done your 4,000 hours of watch time,
4,500 watch time hours,
something like that.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, then you just basically pretty much got to go through the process and click everything and make sure that you meet their standards, you meet their requirements. So the first step thing is applying for it. That takes like 24 hours for them to apply to say yes or no if they're going to do it, just to initially even look at it. And then once you've done that, then you have to put an AdSense campaign, which is a part of that. You we've got to get that done. That generally takes around about a week or two to get sorted, sometimes less, depends on the situation at the time. And then the third step, that may take a week or so.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and then once that's done, then you've got to look at how you're going to monetize your channel. And it's not as simple as, we'll press a button and, you do it. You have to literally work out when you're going to play it, where you're going to put the ads in front of your videos, at the end of the videos, or in the middle of the videos, and get all that done. Plus, you then also got to watch out for, well, hang on a minute, every time this ad starts, well, my video stops. People switch off and go. So you got to be mindful of that. So we started at first, when we first monetized, by just putting ads on anything, and we just went, let's run the luck and see how we go. But then we realized, hang on a minute, no, we're losing viewers. So we've stopped that now. So on our main interviews, we are actually only putting the ads at the start and at the end. And all the way through the video is clear from ads, because we don't want anyone interrupted in what we're showing them. At the end of the day, that's it.
Very interesting. I didn't know. Did you know that? I did not know that you actually choose where the ads are going. There you go.
Yeah.
You don't choose what ad there are, but you choose where you want to put them in your videos areas.
Okay. Yeah, did you? I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah, I helped Brendan out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fellow friend of ours. So yeah.
Yep. So the philosophy is, in the middle of the video would not be a great idea, because you feel that people would turn.
Well, yeah, especially for interviews, I think if people will switch off. If it was if we were doing filming a car show, for example, we're not interviewing anyone, we just put the ads wherever it needs to be. We're not worried about it, but we don't want people getting interrupted when we're trying to talk about the car or the background story or things like that, because we've been finding that people just go, well, look, I don't want an ad. I just want to watch what you've got. I want to see what's going on with this car. I want to find out more and deep dive into that, because some of the stuff that we've shown some people are going, that doesn't exist. And then we've gone, yes, it does. And then we've actually shown them in the video, but we've also then backed it up by providing them all the evidence in the description, so they can read it and then click the links and go look for themselves and go, oh, holy crap, it does exist.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's I should look into that. We should look at the YouTube part. If you help Brendan, you can help me do that.
Oh yeah, dump myself in, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, that's your next job, Todd. That one there.
Yeah.
YouTube partnership program.
Yeah, right.
Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
You definitely got to get your views and everything up before you do it.
All right, okay. All right, so well, maybe wait a bit.
No, we got a secret weapon.
What's that?
The Camry.
Okay, yes. Camry's hit and miss. This is something that's come into my mind as well, and I've often questioned. I've spoken to Todd about it. Have you guys ever considered like a live panel show, like what we're doing, but live?
Funny you should say that.
Yeah.
We pretty much just started pretty much exactly that on a separate YouTube channel. So we're getting together with Raw Talk, Tex at Raw Talk, and we want to just present a monthly show that just talks about the upcoming events we've been to in the past month. We want it to be quite an informative show, so that people will tune in to say, oh, I want to see what's coming up this month. And these guys always do a list of the shows coming up, that sort of thing. But we also want to get people in on the panel and talk to them and that sort of thing. So so that is something that we're kind of having a crack at.
Yeah, okay.
And
we'll see how that goes.
We have also sat there and did a live stream with subscribers from time to time.
Okay.
We did one that just before Christmas, and that went quite well. And we're going to do another one very shortly again. And we just get feedback and get questions, involvement, and stuff like that. Find out what they want. We're always asking for what you guys want to see on our channel. So, and everyone wants to know the rare stuff, the stuff that no one knows about, and things like that. So we're always trying to find those.
Yeah.
And they're out there. Even on Sunday, we found a Monaro that was a pre-production Monaro, and it doesn't have a number on it, because it wasn't part of the production list.
Yeah, okay.
So
Wow.
Yeah, it was HQ two-door as well.
yeah,
so,
HQ, yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
There's so many stories out there, isn't there, really, when you
There
look
is.
at it. Like, there's heaps of people have heaps of stories and yeah, it's unearthing that. But yeah, no, that's great to hear. I've often thought we've thrown it around, bandied it around like a live panel show. I don't know, I haven't got my head around it. I'm not. We're all pre-recorded, so and then we cut out the bits that we that we don't. So I haven't done it yet, but I've that was one of the questions that I had for you guys. I'm really interested in the incentive or the what you're running down at Pinjarra Max. Richie does magnificent show down there. We've had Richie on the podcast before, Richie Howlett, for those that are listening and don't know who we're talking about. So Pinjarra Max, tell us about the YouTube corner you've got happening down there.
Yeah, we've just got a few of the other YouTube channels that we're in conjunction with, So we thought, well, we might as well all get together at a show. We've got a good relationship with Richie, so we asked him if we could do that, and he said, yeah, no problems at all. Yeah. So there's about 4 or 5 of us on board at the moment. We've got Automotive Carnage coming down the shed with Byron.
Raw Talk,
yeah, of course. And there's us, and Bad Q should be there as well.
Yep.
Bad Q Garage,
Yeah, and we just thought it was an opportunity to get the cars and stuff that people are seeing on our channels out in the real world, so people could just come and see them for real and have a chat with us and that sort of thing, just sort of so they could meet us in person, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it also promotes that car scene in general in WA, and brings more people because they see it on our shows and on their channels. And if we can bring them to that scene on the day, it's even better. So we're trying to promote that as much as we can. And both me and Dan are like car lovers as it is, and we've got our own cars and we're car fans, and we try to get out to everything we can.
I think tragics is the word.
Yeah, probably tragics. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, speak right on cue. I think I've got here. Like, talk us through what got you started in the car scene, and then follow on like your current rides now. But what got you guys? Dan, you're from Canberra.
Yeah.
Was it? Did you grow up with Summit? Yeah. So,
but it was actually it was funny. I used to drive to Foster Tuncurry as a kid with my parents to go up and see my dad's parents that lived up there. And we were sitting in Newcastle, at the back of Newcastle one day to drive a Reviver. It was about 2:00 in the morning or something, and this green panel van rumbled around the roundabout with the tailgate up and the surfboard sticking out the back. And I just thought, I really like that. So that was kind of the planting of the seed. I don't know how old I was. I was probably about 12 or something.
Yeah.
But always loved the XYs as well.
Yep.
And also growing up on the farm, Dad was always fixing our own cars, and so we were always pulling motors out and that sort of thing. So I think it was just in me from the beginning. But yeah, I'll always remember that night to go, that's when I think I fell in love with panel vans, and then it was all over after that. I had to get a panel van. So yeah.
And yourself, Phil?
Pretty much like my old man was always into cars as well, not to massive details. He always fixing them and stuff like that. But then when he was in the army, he actually had an accident. He went blind, and from there, then he had to make me do some of the work. Yeah. So from that, I started playing around with the cars with him and fixing them, and every time we needed stuff, and that got me hooked. And then it just carried on from there, and I just kept the ball rolling. And I just love pulling stuff apart and putting it back together again, making it roll down the street. And it's just nothing better. It's relaxing. It's soothing. Sometimes it can be frustrating. Yeah, absolutely. But most of the time it's great. But
you go looking for that 10 mil socket.
Oh yeah,
everyone looks for their 10 mil socket.
Yeah.
Speaking of your own car, then talk us through that how-to section that you've got going on your YouTube channel. So there was the install of a radiator overflow. Yep. Like, is that something that you guys are going to expand on, or?
Well, we've got a couple of projects going. Obviously, Phil's working on his van just constantly. I've got the Cortina, so that's the one I'm going to be doing. But so the how-to stuff's, I guess, just a bit of fun in the garage. Like when you figure out something, you just go, might as well just show what I've learnt, sort of thing. Or just something simple. Yeah, we'll be getting a bit more deeper into things. I mean, Phil did the V8 conversion on the XC late last year, so that was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And the Cortina's getting a whole heap of goodies. So that's I want to sort of build that up for some roll racing and some drag racing and that sort of thing.
Well, talk us through the Cortina while we're here. Then I'm not familiar with that your Cortina.
Yeah, well, it's actually my wife's Cortina.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it's a TE.
Yep.
79. So I bought it for her to drive to uni when she was doing her law degree. I won't say how long ago because it'll be embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a blue bomb that we pulled out of my mate's backyard, and we had to replace a door and a guard on it, and that was bright orange because they were the only parts I could get at the time. So it was a blue car with bright orange panels on it. So it was a bit of a bomb, but I had a little 200 motor in it at the time, so we quickly rebuilt it, and it did her for the 3 years of going to uni, and then after that, she had the choice to get rid of it and get a little buzz box or to do something with it. So she decided, no, let's paint it. Let's all do it. At the time, I had my own trim shop in Canberra. And right next door was a mate of mine I grew up in the suburbs with. So he was running a paint shop. So between the two of us, we bartered with each other and we helped each other out and built some cool cars. And the Cortina was one of them. So she picked her colours. It got painted up hothouse green, and we did full trim and everything in it.
Yep.
And then we drove it around for ages, did the summer nats a few times in it. And then it got a 200-stroker engine after that, and that was pretty good. And then we came over here, and it pretty much sat in the shed for about 7 years untouched.
Yep.
So I thought, I've got to get it out. And anyway, the more I started playing with it, the less the wife wants to drive it, because I put nitrous on it and a few other things and took it down the drag strip, and I had a bit of fun with it. And, of course it didn't go fast enough and blew the head gasket. So now we're going to the next stage. So now it's getting a turbo and fuel injection system. I've just got an ICE ignition system for it. So convert it to coil packs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Got a Haltech 2500 to run it all. Still got the nitrous there, so that'll be run back into it. Got all the sensors and everything. So it'll be just a nice tunable little fun car, hopefully. They're nice and light, so so it should go well. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome! Now you've got also the the panel van.
Yeah, I've got a WB panel.
WB,
van
that's
well.
right. Yep.
Yeah, but I've also got another one. Yeah, I've also got another one hiding around the corner. It's a HQ that I bought when I was 18.
Okay.
I've managed to hold on to it for all these years.
Oh wow!
So, I took it off the road in 2001 to do some work to it, and it stayed off the road ever since.
Yep.
Traveling and buying houses and all that kind of stuff puts the handbrake on those things. But I've really just waited until probably a bit later in life where I've got a better budget to do that one. So that's the next one on the chopping block, as I'm playing with the Cortina to make it go fast and have a bit of fun, and I'll build that up as a show car.
Oh wow!
Yep.
No, that's. I like the WB as well, because that's got the unique front end, that one.
It's got the tradie front end.
Yeah, the tradie. That's right. Yeah,
so
yes.
It's
probably rarer than the square headlight front end now, isn't it?
I've had people ask me, what the hell is it? And I've also had some guy come up and said, I love the custom front end you've got on this. And I'm like, well, it's certainly not custom.
But you don't see them with the tradie front. I remember talking to you at the show about that, because you don't see many like that anymore. And the ones that were probably got changed to the square headlight WB front end anyway.
Yeah, because that was definitely the more popular one.
Yeah. So it's very rare that front end.
Yeah, I think I've seen one other since I've been in Perth, and that was still painted the original factory silver, because they all came out that silver.
They did, yes.
And the bumper bars were painted and everything, so there's no chrome on mine, but I just painted it all black.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. I like it. And Phil, talk us through. I did see your XC that day as well. Talk us through that.
Yeah, the XC was basically got that project after I sold my Sandman, because I had a HX Sandman that was all original numbers matching, and it was an original 6-cylinder Sandman. It was, you couldn't touch it because it was just pristine, and it had all been rebuilt, and we put about, I think I put about 90 grand into that car and got it done to get it to where it needed to be. And it was a nice car, and it was perfect in every way, but it was getting harder and harder for me to drive because my legs plays up every now and again. So I just went, oh, well, time to sell it on. And the right offer came at the right time, and ended up moving that on for a good chunk of change. So got rid of that, and then I went, well, I still want to be involved in the van club, and I still want to be involved in that scene. So what am I going to get next? And looked around at Holdens and Fords and tried to find a Valiant and all sorts of other kind of cars. At the end, I ended up finding a couple of XCs over in the eastern states. And this was probably the better out of the 3 of them or 4 of them I looked at. Some of them, like, you could put your fist through the actual roof, and they were going, oh, no, it's just a little bit of rust. It's like, no, you put your fist through the roof, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of thing. Whereas my XC's got hardly any. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't look the prettiest at the moment, but it's straightforward. But it's a numbers matching car when I got it. I've still got the numbers matching 6 at the moment, even though I've taken it out. But the whole idea of that car was to change that from being my personal car to be more of a Aussie Garage promo car.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So we're going to change that up and make it so when we rock up to a show, it represents what we do. We're going to have a projector in the back of the van come down so we can show videos when we're at the shows.
Yep.
And it can play on a loop and things like that, and then it'll just retract up into the ceiling so no one knows it's even there.
Yeah.
Going to fix up all the interior and then we'll do the outside eventually, and we'll keep working on it until it gets to the point where it looks good and we can roll out to shows and it's going to be perfect.
Was it my imagination? Did that have the Windsor, the EFI Windsor in it?
No, it just had
it wasn't
the
my imagination.
302.
Yeah.
302
Okay.
Cleveland.
Yep.
Got that out of a F100 that had just been rebuilt probably 5,000 Ks before that. And we dropped it in there. It's got a C4 with a shift kit in it. Still got the Borg Warner original standard diff in it, stuff like that. The seats are going to get redone, but I got a trimmer and he's doing it. So he's doing the whole lot for us in nice leather and everything else. It's going to look perfect.
Yeah. No, beautiful. No, they are nice. You guys are obviously into the van scene. It's a little bit unique, isn't it? I mean, it's not for everyone, but I like, you know, I think once you've like the Sandman's really kicked it off, I guess, for the whole scene many years ago, and they've sort of gained popularity again, I think, in recent years.
They're definitely starting to come back again now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're so rare. That's
That
all panel vans of all. They're just, forget Sandmans like yours. It's like you just don't see them anymore. So I think that's what the beauty is. That's what they're kind of back in vogue again, I guess.
Yeah, trying to get a Chrysler Drifter is like pulling your teeth out. People are chasing those things all over the place and they can't get them.
Yeah, has Clint still got his Clint Ford? Has he? Clint. He's nighttime car cruisers. He's probably listening. Message us, Clint. His is a beautiful one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen that one.
No.
Clint Ford from Nighttime Car Cruisers. I don't know if he still has his. A beautiful example of a drifter. His one. Yep. I know you can't give too much away, but can you tell us your favourite car event in WA? Like, which is the one you enjoy, or you like when you sit down together, you think, right, Phil, Dan, well, we definitely have to go to this event. What would be your number one event in WA?
Well, for different reasons, there'd be a couple of events. I'd say I don't know if I could pin one down.
Yeah.
We go up to Dongra every year for the Dongra Sprint, and that's just a fantastic weekend away. Great show. You know, we just love getting up there, so that's a really good one. Yeah.
It's a good cruise. It's a good cruise going up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good drive up there. You know, it's a good 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive up there or whatever it is.
Yeah. That has to be one of the most underrated events. I actually haven't been, but everyone that talks to me about that one tells me how great that one is.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's right on the water. It's just perfect. You're camping there, or got one of those chalets like we had.
Yeah.
And you're just there for the whole weekend, just chilling, and you do whatever you want, and then you got the show on Sunday and drive back Monday morning, and that's it.
That's April, is that right?
No, it's later in the year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's later.
September or something. I think it is September. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very underrated. Not many people know about it. I don't know if it's that
Yeah.
heavily promoted. I know in Geraldton, because I go up to Geraldton a lot for work, I know it's heavily promoted up there. So a lot of people from Geraldton come down to Dongara because it's only 70 k's, 45 minutes away. Yeah. So it's great. And if people that are listening, head to that show, because you probably won't. Do you get accommodation in Dongara? Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
have to book it a year in
when we
advance.
Not
year in advance.
the sea spray.
Yeah.
Do you get that's really nice there, the sea spray.
It's the Big Four caravan park we stay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But you do have to book a year in advance, and but otherwise, apart from that, I think it's a great show, and I suppose my favourite one would probably be, I like the state titles.
Yep.
Because you've got all panel vans and utes in one place on one day, and you can see all the different variants of what people got inside the cars and how they've done the interiors and what they've done with murals and all sorts of things on the car. I like that.
You have to forgive me for asking, but is that augering in again with Max this year?
Yes. It is. Yeah.
Okay, so right. Okay, yeah.
That's the other great thing. You got Max right next to it, so you're all on the same oval. So it's not just panel vans. It's alongside another very good car show.
It is. It's good that they have those two together. I just wasn't sure if they were doing it again this year. And I know.
So it's on the 2nd of April at Sir Ross McGlarty. Yeah, Oval in Pinjarra, and it's a great event, and we're hoping to get a lot more attraction this year, because not only this year, we've actually included a lot more variety and a lot more classifications. So we've got everything from modern vans to big vans, small vans, also modern utes. We've got old utes, everything. So anything from that age, from day dot to now.
Yep.
We're trying to cover in a panel van and a ute or of any description.
Yep. Yeah, no, looking forward to that. Now, for our listeners that are listening, that is not Easter weekend. Previously, it has clashed with Easter weekend, or was on the Easter weekend, but this year it's the week before Easter. So that's good news. There's really no excuse not to get down there.
Yeah.
It's been, I should try and get down there and support Richie as well. I know Richie's a great guy and, friend of the podcast, and we should try and get down there as well.
Yeah,
just take a trip down for the
There's
day.
heaps of things to do. This year they're bringing back the dyno testing challenge this year as well, so that should be good. I mean, last year we had 50 panel vans and utes there, all on display, and it was perfect. And you saw some rare ones that you just don't ever see very often. Sundowners that come out of the woodwork, original Sandmans that are all numbers matching. It's just great.
Yeah, the locals down there as well. There's a lot of nice cars down. Runa, Harvey, Dad Mandra, of course, dwelling up, tucked away, that come out with that, because there's some really nice cars down that neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're finding cars everywhere. Everywhere we go, once you start scratching, and people get the idea of what you're there for. We went out to Coolin and Corrigan last year. And
that was awesome.
Oh, man, did we find some cars out there?
I saw your videos.
I love that video because I have had family in Coolin. So for me, I'm like, you're in Coolin. Actually, a guest of ours on the show, Jared, is from Coolin.
Yep.
And every time someone says Coolin, I'm like, I know where you guys are. I don't know who that guy is, but I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
It
was great to get out into the country. I mean, country people look at life so differently to city folk. Like when we were talking to them about their cars, they talk about tyres, the best tyres for going long distances, and they've all got bull bars because of kangaroos and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? So they just build their cars still really beautifully, but just differently to the city cars.
Definitely. And we uncovered some really good ones while we were there. I mean, we were only there for like a day really, and then we came back the next day. But while we were there, one of the guys goes, "Well, hey, you come back down here next year, or anytime you want, we'll make sure there'll be 60, 70, 80 cars on the oval ready to go for you to interview." And we'll put on a big smoker. One of the guys built
he's a smoker. I saw that.
Like it's massive and awesome. And he goes, we'll just fire it up and get ready to party. I went, okay, sounds good.
Apparently there's a guy out there with one of every Holden ever built.
Yeah, something like that.
One of every model. And then there was another bunch of blokes out there that had a heap of ESPs or something hiding out on their property too.
Yeah,
Just sheds
yeah,
full of
yeah.
old ESPs and stuff, you know. So there's lots of stuff out there that no one would really know that's there, I
Yeah,
reckon,
that's
until you
it.
actually started having a look and talking to people and getting
Yeah.
into locals and finding out just what's around. There's heaps of stuff we're finding.
Yeah,
Isn't it
that's for
funny?
sure.
You know, years ago, I've been working in agriculture all my life, and when I first started out, people used to say to me, "When you're out in the bush, look out for there's old cars out there, and they don't know how much they're worth.
Yep.
Try and get one." You're dreaming they don't know how much. Of course,
Yeah,
they know
they
how
do
much
now.
they're
Yeah,
worth. And they're smarter than us. Of course,
Yeah.
they know how. They haven't sold them. That is a major fallacy. I tell everyone that says that to me. Did you find a barn find? I said, yeah. I've seen many cars, but I said they're not going to be selling that. You know, it's like those days are. I don't think they ever existed, to be honest with you. Like
Well,
barn.
they did. Like, I mean, I remember my uncle is in the central west of New South Wales, and 20 years ago there were people heading out there with car carriers basically and just going around the farms and seeing what they could get on the back and then take it back to Sydney or something and flip them. You know? But that was back in the day when you could pick them up cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, like because it hadn't really kicked off back then. You know, the whole mad pricing of
But
everything.
you know, DJ from Automotive Carnage, he's still doing it now. He's going out. He found like a pacer in a creek bed, and he's rebuilding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they're still there, and they're still out there. But
But DJ does get off the beaten track.
he does.
fairly
get
well
off
and
the
truly.
You have to
really
get off the
big
beaten track as well. Like if you stay on like Brand Highway or Indian Ocean Road,
Yeah.
you're gonna see the one in the shed, but you know, so do 1,000 other people that are driving past every day.
Yeah.
You've got to go off road, off the track, and really
Yeah.
dig deep. And
Well,
and
DJ goes
for sure.
many hundreds of kilometres off the road, and he's out in the middle of WA to start with. He's nowhere near civilization.
Yeah. I was on farm just the other day. Listen to this. I was on farm the other day, and there was an EA Fairmont gear that caught my eye. I'm a Ford man, but the EA doesn't exist. But I couldn't tell. It was in a paddock far away.
Yeah.
And I said, "Is that EA or EB?" He goes, "That's EA." And I said, I wasn't. If it was EB, I might have had a bit of a crack. He goes, "Oh, but it's not for sale." Yeah. No, we're keeping that. That's an EA.
Yeah, it's amazing what's becoming classic now, isn't it?
An EA.
Yeah.
And it was left outside too. This wasn't in a barn. So it was. It's just it's
The amount of people that we also meet, they go, "Nah, it's there. I'm going to do it up one day." It's been rusting in the yard for like God knows how many years, and they're just going, "I'm going to do it up one day." And you look at it and go, "No, that should be back on the road. Like someone get it back on the road. Hurry up about it." You know, it's like it's awesome.
Yeah, there was a whole little town called Peak Hill near Parks, and it had a massive yard full of old American cars. And this guy wouldn't sell anything. His sons were going to do them all up one day, and in the end, he died. And the scrappies came in, took the lot, you know, and by then it had been sitting there outside in the weather for. I mean, Central West New South Wales isn't too bad for rust, but credit to the scrappy, he lined them all up and sold them all off to people. So they did get out there in the end, but they were probably a lot worse for wear than what they would have been when they parked them there.
Yeah.
No, definitely. When you're at a car show, like what I guess how do you fit in with the promoters? Like, do you tell them in advance you're coming, or you just
No, we just rock
yep
up.
yep
You know, the car show's on. Everyone's
yeah?
ready to go. So we just
Yeah, it's a public
give it a
venue,
go.
so we just.
I know. I'm
yeah,
just
we
saying,
head
but
out
like
and-
Have you ever had the inclination then to run your own show or do your own event?
Well, maybe later on down the track, but there's a lot involved in that at the moment, and for us, we just unfortunately I don't think we have the time to actually do it.
No, not at the moment. No,
Yeah,
not time.
yep.
Yeah.
It's hard because we've spoken about it numerous times, like doing our own car show as well, and I think to myself, yeah, we can, but like, we're going to start competing like just about every weekend, except for June, July, and August. Really, here, just about every weekend is some sort of car show or something going on.
Yeah.
Classic Cars and Coffee now is monthly. You know what I mean? Custom Cars and Coffees almost monthly as well.
Yeah.
It's really hard to fit in with someone else. Like, you don't want to overlap with their show, but it is difficult. We've toyed with the idea, but you know, again, we've come to the same conclusion. A, probably lack of time, but B, also, I think let's just stick to what we're doing, and we'll do this.
And I think like with the C4C that's just come in too, that's made a massive difference because now there's all these clubs that have now formed on that basis, and they're massive clubs now, and they've come out of that because people want that C4C. So now they're having an event. So you now on one weekend, you may have 5 or 6 events to go to on one weekend, and we just look at it and go, well, we can't get to every single event. As much as we want to film every single event, we just can't.
Yeah, you're
just,
definitely spoiled for choice at this time of year anyway, through the warmer months.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Look, I echo the same sentiments that you just said then. I mean, I run a car club as well, born out of C4C.
Yep.
And we run events monthly, and we're often clashing. We did one last weekend. But I thought Motivation might have gone back to January weekend, but it didn't.
Yep.
So we clashed with Motivation. We clashed with the Bathurst 12 Hour.
Yep.
We clashed. A lot of our members are Italian, so they were making sauce that weekend as well, like I normally do.
Yeah.
We just clashed with so many things, and
Yep.
in the end, we didn't get very good turnout at all.
Yeah.
And that's hard, and that's why I say to these guys, I think maybe just leave the car shows to people that do car shows.
I mean, I would love to see WA have an event like what they do over in eastern states, like the Motor X event, or something like mimic the Schema event that the US has, and have all the tradespeople there, all the suppliers there, showing off their wares and what they've got to offer everyone, and all having all the best of the best engineered cars on display, and that is it. And it'd be a great event, like in a
We need a show car show.
that kind of stuff, and just have that, and then have everyone come in there, and also have stuff like they do at like Schema, where you can trial out trying to put seats in, or trial out putting motors together, or put stereos in, or something like that, where suppliers are actually donating their time and helping car builders do that. But we don't have any of that. We barely get suppliers out, because it's just half the time it's not worth their while. They're out there all day and they're losing business from the shop where they could be there. Whereas if we had something that was big enough, that was warranted, that they could actually make money there as well as make money at the shop, that would be awesome to have in WA.
Yeah.
Well, it was good to see at Motivation this year. Rare Spares were back.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Persons
awesome.
were there. I'm not sure who else was there. They're the only 2 big ones I think that were there. But at least they were there, and they're wanting to support the show. And they all said to us that they're just trying to get back into the scene just to see how it goes for them. Yeah. So if we can support their businesses while they're at the shows, then they'll support more shows, hopefully.
Oh, and NGK was there too with their
spark
spark
plugs.
plugs. They were there, and they pretty much supplying every week, or everyone with spark plugs that weekend, and also Burson's had parts going out the shelf because everyone was blowing parts out there on their cars doing burnouts. So,
well, it's one thing with a driving event, isn't it? Because Motivation's become very much a driver's event, a bit like the Summer Nats. They've got Skid Row now, they've got cruising up and down the drag strip, all that kind of thing. So things are bound to break and go wrong. So
You make an interesting point about Rare Spares. I've noticed that as well. Like, they're a supporter of our car club too, so they have a car club scheme as well. Yep. So members of car clubs get discounts as well. They've been extremely helpful. I don't know if it coincided with the ownership of Repco, since Global Parts Group, or Global Parts Company, bought them. Yep. I don't know if it's all tied in together because they're all one big company now, but it seemed to be that they are. Look, Aaron, shout out to Aaron here at Rare Spares in Aussie Park. Aaron and Jason, by the way.
They're awesome guys.
They do a magnificent job, and Aaron will bend over backwards for anyone,
Oh, for sure.
Like, even if they haven't got a part coming in, or if their part's coming in, he puts it aside, and you go there on Saturday morning, pick it up. He does that all the time, so probably shouldn't advertise that too much.
No, it's a very good thing.
Well, apparently one of the new things they're doing now is you can actually order your Rare Spares parts through Repco stores now.
Yeah.
Have them delivered to your Repco store. Yeah.
So Repco now all have access to the rare spares inventory,
Yeah, the
and
whole
so
lot,
they,
yeah.
when you go into your Repco store, you give them the rare spares part number. Yep, they've got it there. This one's sitting in Shepparton, and away they go. So, yeah, lots changed there, and it's noticeable that rare spares are. Well, I shouldn't say that, but they have changed their method of marketing, I guess.
Well, even Repco was off the scene for ages. Weren't doing any sponsorship for any car club throughout WA at all. And then they've realised, hang on a minute, we've got a massive hole here and people are wanting it and they're not getting any representation in that scene. And now they're sponsoring Northern Steel and they've only just signed that up. I think it was in January, just before that event. And so now they're starting to get back into the scene where they're going to support car clubs around WA and they're actively looking for car clubs to go, what can we do for you? So if you're a car club, then you got to go hit them up.
Yeah.
But I think the store has only got limited what they can do. They can only give out like a bucket of cleaning goods or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you go to the corporate, well, then they've got more options for it.
Yeah. No, that's certainly very helpful, Repco, team at Repco. Hello, shout out to Repco.
Yeah. No, we're getting there. But so if you do need parts, and this is a shout out to the radio station as well, Repco Allenbrook. I've got a friend that works there and is very helpful. So
They're all very. The Repco stores are all very helpful.
yeah, they all are.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So.
That's it.
Yep. I mean, as YouTubers, as podcasters, I guess we've all got to be sort of singing from the same hymn page, don't we? So, you know,
for sure.
they're important vendors for us as well. We don't have any. Should put it out there. We don't have any sponsorship agreement with these companies, but
yet,
but they certainly help. I know they certainly help the scene. Let's put it that way. So
yeah.
We just thought it was great to see them back out in the scene again at the shows, selling their wares, doing their thing, and talking to people. you
Yeah.
know. So it's huge.
correct me if I'm wrong. I think Burson's are part of the same group, aren't they? GPC. I'm pretty sure Burson's are GPC as well.
I'm not
I
sure.
wouldn't have a clue.
I need to probably check that, but
Yeah.
I think they're all part of the same family now.
Yeah, look, Burson seem to be sponsoring a few things around Australia, so they seem to be keen on getting into that side of things, which is good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a big business, car parts. It's there's no doubt about it.
Yep.
What's next for you guys?
Well, I think more than anything, we're trying to really hone on what we do as far as our video skills and get it right. But we're also actively chasing people that have got collections and rare cars, not just the everyday kind of car as well, which are great. And we love interviewing them, and we'll interview anyone. But the rare ones and the diamonds in the rough, so to speak.
Yeah.
We
Things
like
like
finding
that Phase 5 we came across down at Serbian
stuff
Club
like
that day. That was really interesting, and it was just I'd never seen one before. I didn't even know Phase 5 existed.
So there was an XD, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's one in WA.
Yeah, there's one here. Yeah. Rare as anything, and I didn't even know it existed. So
That was at the Serbian club, was it?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right. We had I think it was the Shannon's
Cars and
Southern
Coffee,
Coffee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and even at the Joondalup Festival, there was a Monaro convertible.
The
VN.
VS.
VN.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
That was one of
Spun
one,
out,
and
yeah.
no
Yeah.
one realised they existed, and it did. It existed.
And that video got a lot of attention, even if
Yeah.
people were saying how terrible it looked and
Yeah,
how it never should have been built.
yeah.
But the key to that video, I think, was also, what got my attention? I'd seen the car, Classic Cars and Coffee, but also was the thumbnail as well that you used for that video. I found it I said, I've got to check that one out. That's quite attractive to me. And even in saying that SV88, I love that. The only reason why I love that car is I grew up around the corner from one in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've never seen it since until, I'm not saying that was the car, but till that day at Northern Steel. I
Yeah,
hadn't
and that's
seen
why
one
when we
since.
do find stuff like that, when we do the video, we generally put a big description about the car, and we try to give as many facts that we can find out about the car, and we also then do background checks to find out. Well, hang on a minute, let's find some specs on this, so we can actually put that up as well, so people can go have a look for themselves. So people can go, well, nah, that didn't happen, and you go look at it, and they go, yeah, it did, and you show them, and then they go, wow, wouldn't have guessed it,
And it's all very well documented.
Yeah.
It just slipped through the cracks. You know, it was the first HSV ever built
Well, the amount of people
after Peter Brock split from Holden.
Yeah.
Went from HDT stuff to HSV, and that was the first one they did. So
Yeah.
the amount of people that I had arguments with at car shows because my Sandman was a 6. The amount of people that argued with me that Sandmans didn't come out in a 6-cylinder were adamant that no way. They all coming out in V8s, and you showed them the documents, and they just went, "Nah, you made this up." And it's like, no, they came out, and it's like,
Question without notice: does that make the car? Do you think that makes the car more valuable?
well, yeah, because most people that had 6s
Yeah,
ripped them out, and put the V8s in it.
Yeah,
So there was very few of them left.
That's what a lot of people say about XYs and XWs. Most of them have been changed into V8s.
Or GTs.
Yeah.
there's more GTs on the road that were ever produced.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's it.
I think when you mentioned that before, your Sandman was a 6. I did know that they were 6 cylinders as well.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I said, "Geez, that's probably more valuable."
Well, apparently now it's got a nice home on a $25 million showroom floor, just sitting there, and he uses it when he wants to.
Yeah. See.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's gone to a good home,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to get looked after. So I'm happy with that.
But that's you. Yeah, you've proved my point because I do. I think there's more value in the ones that weren't converted.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny. It's a funny world we live in, but that's how it rolls.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I actually think it would have had to have been ordered with a 6-cylinder, wouldn't it?
No, they did come out standard, but the dealers had the options of changing them out.
I gotcha.
And then they put it out. But you could order a standard 6 as a Sandman. And yeah, even I think even right up to the HZs. The HZs were HZs. I think you had to order this 6 cylinders.
Yeah, okay.
But otherwise, up until then, you can get them in both.
Yep.
So was that 202?
Yep, 202.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. We did make it a bit more beefier. We blueprinted it and we made it into like a XU1 Tirana type setup and the engine bay. Still numbers matching car, but we just boosted it up, gave it more performance, and it made it a run. And she used to go well. There was no problem with her at all. She used to suck the juice though. Like every time I went out, I had to fill her up. So pretty much had to have a fuel tank behind me as I went out.
No, look. I mean, that's a magnificent story. I like hearing stuff like that. And you know what? I'm gonna have to dig up. So the Phase 5, you got a video? I missed that one.
Yeah, it's there somewhere. It'll be back
I'm gonna dig that
probably
one up.
mid last year sometime.
Yeah, something like that. And we didn't get to do a full interview with the guy because he just didn't want to talk to us at the time. But we got information about it, and we looked at it, and we found out some history behind it, and we researched it and put it up there. So yeah,
it's hard, especially when you're at a car show. Like I think can be not intimidating, but it can be hard going up to someone and saying, "Hey, do you want to talk about your car?" Because some people are like,
definitely.
a bit shy. I know, like your friend there was very, very shy. Anthony. But in the end, you got through to him. You managed to speak with him as well.
Well,
we
pretty much try to make it relaxed as possible, and we don't really make it stiff and starchy.
Our unprofessionalism, I think, puts people at ease.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, we don't want to be too professional, do we? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not. We're not talking about like blue chip shares, or we're not talking about neuroscience here. So
yeah, exactly.
We want to keep it.
We just want to talk cars.
That's it. That's right.
Get the stories out.
And we generally keep it quite raw, don't we? When we're talking about stuff, and every now and again, a swear word or something falls out. Well, who cares? We're talking about cars, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's been great for us. And most people are receptive. We start talking to them, and they go, "Oh, it wasn't so bad after all. I thought it was going to be bad." And I went, "No." And he goes, "No, it's easy talking to you guys."
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and that's the key. I mean, but you're sorry. It's part of your charisma, I guess, as well. Like
I don't have any of that, so I don't.
No, you say you don't, but you do, because at the end of the day, because people wouldn't talk to you if you didn't. So you know what I mean? Yeah. Like here we are, we've gone well over an hour, and you probably didn't think this would go anywhere near that long, but it's just what happens.
Yeah.
You start talking about cars, and we just end up going.
Oh, when we first started, Dave, like every interview we did was like it took us like hour like to try and get the questions out of it because we had to stop because we kept on forgetting what we were trying to ask them.
Yeah.
And now we just do it in one take.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's it. Just
But
a bit
it's
more-
natural now for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I can see that. When I watch your videos, I can see it's natural. It comes
Yeah.
out of you because you're comfortable with – you got to be also comfortable with cars as well. Like you have to have – this is where, I mean, I'm not so good because if it's a Holden, I'm okay. But like talk about like the cars that he's into, Evos and JDM scene, no idea. No idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to like you guys have got to be experts in Chrysler, Ford, Holden, and you know American cars as well.
Well, I think you also have to be, you have to listen too, because I think that's
Definitely,
the key
yeah.
because we don't know everything. We make mistakes sometimes too. Like we've put up a couple of cars and someone's corrected us and going, no, that's not an XE, that's a bloody
Something or
XF
other,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
whatever
that.
it
And
was.
we've gone, okay, cool, not a drama. Tell us a bit more.
Mm.
And we're always been willing to learn a bit more about
Yeah.
it. So when the owners are speaking to us and they're telling us about the car, then we go find out a bit more as well because we go, oh, yeah, I didn't even know that happened. They're like, you know, there's so many cars out there that no one knew existed and we're like stumbling over cars every time we research another car.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
We're finding all sorts of things that we didn't know.
yeah, like so many rare
Concept
bloody
cars and things that-
Monaros and concept cars and all sorts of things that
Yeah.
no one knew existed. And we're going, okay, well, awesome. Like, where can we find them?
Yeah.
Where can you find them? And the beauty about what you guys do is you're recording that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're putting it out there. You're recording the history for people to come along in the future and read and watch and learn about. So
Yeah.
it is important what we all do because I think, you know, we're especially with the demise of Ford and Holden really, or Holden in particular, but even Ford now, I mean, there's no locally produced Fords anymore.
No, it's all
It's
overseas
important,
now.
yeah, what we're talking about. So it's you know, I think what you do is a magnificent job, and I'm really glad you could come out here for this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're happy to, you know,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, definitely, like you said, with them going, it's definitely left a big hole in the Australian market with that kind of car because there's nothing to backfill it now.
No,
you know?
that's
And,
right.
I think the old muscle cars type styling and performances that it seems to be wearing out unless GM brings them all over from US.
Yeah.
Which I know.
Yeah, we just need some Camaros and some Hellcats over here now and then.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that'll go a long way to satisfying the petrol heads of
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Australia.
then again, it's like when they brought out the Mustang. Now the Mustangs have flooded the market out here now.
Yeah.
And now everywhere
Yeah.
you look, there's a Mustang, and you go, well, it's not really rare anymore. It's like driving around with a Daihatsu and everything.
Yeah.
They've now got the same reputation they've got in America of just being a hire car, mate.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
Guys, where can we find you guys? So www.aussiegaragetv.com.au.
Yep.
Yep, that's our landing
That's
page. And,
Yep.
and obviously on YouTube, Aussie Garage,
Mhm.
and Facebook.
Yeah. TikTok, Instagram. We're pretty much on all those. We put up posts all the time as much as we can. Generally on YouTube, we try to put up a video Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then in between that, we put some up.
Wow.
But we try to do that, but it's not always the case. During winter, we go a bit slower.
Yeah, it gets a bit quieter.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, that's a good time to get into people's sheds with them. So
Yeah, no,
we're
definitely.
just trying to meet as many people as we can through the car shows that we go to in the meantime. And
Yeah.
we should have enough people to see through the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
But I mean, the only thing I suppose we should mention too is we've actually just signed ourselves a sponsor.
Oh, good on you. Well,
yeah, we-
give them a plug.
Yeah, well, Auto Effects WA has come on board to help us. They were impressed by what we did because we did an interview with them, which one of the interviews is going to head up on tomorrow. Actually,
Yep.
tomorrow at 2:00, we're putting the first video of that one up, and we've got another episode to go of that. But we did interview with them about what they do as far as the muscle car and how they protect paint and detailing the cars ready for shows and everything like that. And it was interesting to see them work and what they actually perform and, you know, all the stuff they do behind the scenes. And we did that, and out of the blue, we just said, "Look, I know you guys are small, and I know you said you didn't want to do anything until you got bigger, But he goes, I think we should do something now.
That's
So,
excellent news. So where can we find them?
Well, at Auto Effects is
Just
their website.
Yeah, I don't have their. I don't know their actual.
That's all right. But if they we watch the video tomorrow, we'll be able to find out.
Yeah,
2
we'll put
o'clock
the links
tomorrow.
in the video
Yep.
and stuff like that. So as well.
Oh, congratulations. That's good. I like hearing that.
Yeah,
But
It's
they're just
good.
another business that's heavily involved in the automotive
Yeah,
industry
definitely.
in WA. You know, so
Cars and coffee, and he's been in business 20 years in WA.
The key is, but he's bought into what your message and your product. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't mean that financially, but I mean also in what you're doing, and he can see value in that for him as well. So
Yeah.
that's important. You know, that's important to him, and it's great to hear. It's good news. I'm really happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, we'll bring this one to an end.
Yeah.
Todd, thanks for coming in.
That's all right. I think listen to the story.
Phil,
It's great.
Dan, it's great to have you here. I really enjoyed this.
No,
Thanks for
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice to talk about cars, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
love it. We could talk all night.
We could.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you soon. So head to aussiegaragetv.com.au. Head to their Facebook page, TikTok as well. And check out everything. There's so many videos there. That's what. And your website is really good. So head to the. I reckon best to go to the website. I reckon that's really easy to navigate.
Yeah,
and
pretty much you can go from there. From the website, you can go pretty much to any of the
Yeah.
platforms that we've got. And we've even got our videos that we put up on YouTube feed straight into our website as well. So they're all in there as well. So as soon as we put one up, it feeds into our webpage, and the latest one's up there as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's great news.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care. See you.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.